So an apprentice asked me recently, how do you become a well-rounded electrician? One thing to keep in mind about being a well-rounded electrician is it depends on what you think a well-rounded electrician is. There's so many fields and industries for electricians to work in. You know, there's all kinds of aspects to the trade. You're not just doing construction or residential. There's all kinds of fields you can be in. You can be in management. You know, you can go in motor control. You can be in the oil industry. You know, you can go towards engineering. You know, you can specialize in retail, and so there's many different fields. And to be a well-rounded electrician kind of depends on who you are as an electrician, or what your perspective is, or where you want to go as an electrician. But overall, I'll just give you a few tips on what I think a well-rounded electrician looks like. And for that matter, this is not just for electricians, it would work for anyone in any field or any trade. The first thing I would recommend for apprentices, if they're first year, second year, third year, or fourth year, or even young journeymen who may have just turned out, I would actually recommend that you do side jobs. Just do a lot of side jobs. Don't say no to side jobs if you're afraid of them. Just do as many as you can. It'll give you experience and confidence in your trade, and it'll actually help you start thinking on your feet and thinking on your own about electrical and solving problems and things like that. To the apprentice who may have never done side jobs, or you've done like one or two maybe for your family or for someone just that you know that's close to you, I'd say don't be afraid to do side jobs. Don't be afraid to get started. You know, your first one or two might be difficult, but doing side jobs will help you to think as an electrician. It'll give you experience that you won't get working for another company. And the other thing about doing side jobs I would recommend is to, even if you do a side job and you can't make money at it, you're still learning something, and learning something is actually more valuable than making money off it. So in the first year or two you're doing side jobs, I would still do them even if you think that you're not making money on them. You're in a learning process, and learning is by far, in the long run, more valuable to you if you're going to stay in the trade as an electrician. So all the things that you learn, the mistakes that you make, all these things are going to help you in the long run. So don't be afraid to not make money or not be sure if you're making the right amount of money. You'll figure that out as you go. In fact, I would say don't go into it thinking that you're going to gouge people, that you're going to make a whole bunch of money like your first year just because you're young and, you know, just because you're a young apprentice. And electricians make a lot of money, so apprentices should make a lot of money. I wouldn't go into it with that mindset. I'd go into it with the mindset of learning something, you know, giving, you know, just giving good electrical service to whoever your customer is, but don't go into it with the mentality that you're going to make a whole bunch of money right off like the first year or the second year. So I would go into it with the mentality that you're going to learn something, you're going to help somebody, that you're helping you in the long run, not just to go make a whole bunch of money. So that's the mistake that I see is young guys that go into it making a whole bunch of money, think they're going to make a whole bunch of money, and it takes a few years, 5 years, 10 years before you can get a good head on your shoulders to kind of figure out where you are and how to, or where you kind of fit in the electrical, you know, field, and what your pay scale would be like, or how much you should get paid for doing electrical work. So that'll come in time. The second thing that I would recommend to be a well-rounded electrician is to study your code. When I was in construction, whatever I was working on, I would make a mental note of a couple of things, like one or two things every day. I'd go home and look it up in my code book. And so if you do that, if you use that method, you're looking at 200 to 300 code references a year, and that'll help you along with your school. And then number three, I'd recommend that you treat your employer as a customer. Instead of just working for a company, treat your employer as somebody that you are working for as a customer, like as if it was a client of yours, and it'll change your perspective. The fourth thing that I recommend to become a well-rounded electrician, actually this should be the first thing, is to always use quality tools. Never ever use cheap tools. Your tools, the quality of your tools define you as an electrician. and that's true of anyone in any profession. So the quality of your tools will define the quality of your work and the quality of the work that you get. So use quality tools, never use cheap tools. And if you're just starting out and you can't buy expensive tools, I would even say buy one or two good tools. Don't buy a bunch of cheap tools. You're better off having one or two good tools and not having a bunch of cheap tools until you can afford them. When I first started in the trade, I had a handful of tools, and I would just, every payday, I would just buy one or two extra tools that I needed, you know. I didn't spend, you know, $200, $300, $400 on tools when I first started. So buy one tool a week or one tool a payday as you can afford it, but only buy quality tools. So the fifth thing that you can do to be a well-rounded electrician is to find a mentor, someone that's been in the trade a little bit longer, whether it's a journeyman. In some states there's a master electrician. Might just be someone in the trades in general that has an eye for craftsmanship and a good name for himself. So finding a mentor can help train you, teach you, and give you some tips, but it doesn't have to be an electrician, but find a mentor. The other thing about mentors is a good mentor will help you through your side jobs. He'll help you figure them out. He'll help you, you know, price them properly and help you troubleshoot the problem. He'll just help you. So number 6, what you do 8 hours a day is your job. Your future and your career start at the 9th hour. So take advantage of that time. The 9th hour is your opportunity to move ahead while everybody is clocking out and going home. You're clocking in and working on your future and your career. Do what no one else is doing. And then the 7th thing is, don't be afraid of new jobs or new experiences in your job. A lot of electricians, particularly apprentices, when they first get started in the trade, sometimes they get pigeonholed into doing one job, and that's what they end up doing for 2, 3, 4 years in a row, and they never get new experiences. In my first year in the trade, I probably worked for 6 different companies, and at first I thought that was a disadvantage, but I actually got more experience in that 1 year doing different types of things and different types of electrical work than I did working for, you know, one company at a time, where I was just doing one type of work over and over. So don't be afraid to do and try new things, particularly if your employer offers you opportunities to work, you know, like overtime on the weekends or maybe at another job or something. So take advantage of those opportunities. So then the 8th thing that I would recommend to be a well-rounded electrician is to ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Questions is what helps you learn, and you should work for people that like you asking questions and want to teach you. As a matter of fact, if you work for somebody that puts you down or makes fun of you for asking questions, I wouldn't work for that person for a very long time. I'd find somebody else to work for. So then the 9th thing that I would recommend is to understand safety. Not just for you, but for those around you and the people that you work with and work for. You do not want to be the guy who gets to go home to his family while somebody else on the job got hurt or even killed. So work safely and always think safely on the job. I remember from the earliest ages, growing up with my father, he would always teach me firearm safety and shop safety around carpentry tools and power tools and things like that. And then when I was in the military, the same thing. I just got tons and tons of safety all the time. And then when I was in construction, the same thing. You know, safety just gets drilled into you every day. So, and there's a reason for that. You want to go home to your family. Your employer wants you to go home to your family, and you don't want your buddy to get hurt either. So, think safety. Then the 9th thing to be a well-rounded electrician is pride and craftsmanship. Pride and craftsmanship is basically enjoying what you do and doing what you do professionally, and making sure that the work that your hands do is done 100% to the best of your ability. Pride and craftsmanship is not about being arrogant or pig-headed about things. Pride and craftsmanship is about enjoying what you do and loving what you do.